the Toronto Raptors. LeBron James said that Kyle Lowry had a hell of a game last night in a big win in the East. James, I'm going to throw it to you because you're the guest. Are the Raptors a contender out there in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, I guess in the most literal sense, you have to say yes. When you're second in the East, you have as good a chance, Andy, of meeting the Cavs in the ECF. But let's be real. I don't as good as they're playing right now, and Kyle Lowry's awesome. I don't, LeBron James in the playoffs is a whole different animal. So I don't think they're really contenders, but they're close to the contenders you're going to have in the East.
Mm-hmm. I think they're like head and shoulders above the rest of the Eastern Conference. I don't think necessarily the Celtics, Hawks, and Heat, any of those teams are really kind of on the same tier as them. Heat had the potential to be, especially if Chris Bosh does come back, if Joe Johnson gives them something. But I do think the Raptors are legit. Last few seasons, they've been one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, and I think that's why they didn't have success in the playoffs, and they were a first round fodder, basically. But this team can defend. They're top 12, I believe, in both offensive and defensive efficiency. So this team's legit. I wouldn't say they're a contender. I don't really think they have a chance of knocking off the Cavs. But they showed last night that they're a team that needs to be taken seriously.
James, how much are they missing DeMarre Carroll right now?
They're missing DeMarre Carroll a ton. It's weird to say, seeing as they're second in the East, but his versatility, his ability to defend, 2 through 4, he can hit the outside shot. That every team needs that. I mean, they give him give him all that money for a reason. And it's I guess I got to tip my hat to what they're doing because they're playing so well without him. And you throw him in the mix, and that's just now you can shift like Terrence Ross to the bench, and now you're even deeper. It makes a huge difference. So I think if you put him there, and I would say yes, you give them a puncher's chance to get a team like the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, I mean, it's something that's been spoken about all season long is the shape-shifting Marc Gasol-esque weight loss by Kyle Lowry. What difference have you seen in the last couple months?
Well, I think I don't know if the last couple months are going to be the best indicator of that. Historically, Kyle Lowry has really trailed off after the All-Star break. His body's broken down. He's slowed down. You see the numbers drop off, both in shooting percentage, turnovers go up. So how he kind of finishes this season, I think, is going to be the most telling part of how effective that weight loss is. Because really, longevity being there in the playoffs instead of kind of a shell of himself or hurt, I think that was the objective that he had after 2 consecutive years of being out in the first round. So I think how he finishes the season is going to be the most telling part of his weight loss.
James, in a 7-game series, if these guys met head-to-head, both healthy, who do you take?
I mean, right now I have to say the Cavs, but they have the X factor. They got LeBron James. I think Lowry would kind of dominate his matchup. But yeah, once you get LeBron James in a 7-game series, he knows he doesn't have to reserve his energy. It's a different ballgame. So we're talking DeMarre's gonna be healthy or not in this series? I should ask you that first.
Yeah, healthy.
Healthy DeMarre Carroll. And even so that gives you a puncher's chance. But I mean, there's not much you can really do with LeBron James right now. Anyone in the East can. So I would love to see them upset the Cavs because I like to see a good underdog story. But yeah, you got to be realistic here. I think the Cavs probably win it in 6.
Mm-hmm.
Same, Justin?
Yeah, I think the Cavs would win the series. I think the games. I don't know how long the series would go. I think all the games would be really close, and it basically would come down to execution at the end of the games. I think it has potential to be maybe a 7-game series or a 5-game series. Whatever the series is, it's probably not going to be reflective of how close those games are because they are 2 teams that do historically play each other really tight. I think the Cavs would come away with the series win. It's always tough to judge the Cavs in the regular season because LeBron really does save himself for the playoffs. We saw it last season. Atlanta just absolutely dominated the Cavs, blew them out by 20 all the time. And then once the playoffs came around, even with injuries, the Cavs swept them. So it really is tough to get a feel for how good the Cavs are or how good they can be, because we don't know how high James can elevate his game. Maybe he's regressed a bit, and the series would be tighter than people would expect. That wouldn't really surprise me, but I think the Cavs would come away with that win.
Yeah, and the one X factor that hasn't been mentioned is the Raptors fan base is insane, and their home winning streak right now is at a historic high. I think it's 10 or 11 straight at home, so that would definitely be an X factor in that series.